Cool. I think we should be live. I'm just going to check. Just going to check with our trusty friend in the back office just to check that we're streaming. James, you're a professional at this sort of thing. Are we streaming, James?
It says live up in the corner, so I think we're good.
Yeah,
to
this
go.
is live. It's up on Twitter.
I can see that. I wanted some independent verification. So yeah, I'm hoping people can see me. And I'm trying to get some confirmation. Let's have a look. Usually you get some good confirmation in.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it on my end.
Cool. Amazing. Right, amazing. So let's get going. So look, thank you. There we go. Yeah, I've got confirmation, multiple confirmations. So thank you if you're joining this. Why are we doing this? And we'll jump into intros in a second. So today is the start of the uniquely, definitely not ripped off named UFC, the Ultimate Funded Championship. Right, we 3 weeks of workshops and we came up with a name that already existed. And what this is just a friendly tournament. We say friendly, wait until it gets to the business end, where numerous communities are coming together, and we've got teams of traders. We've got 25 traders across 5 teams actually that are coming together to battle it out. And I'll talk a bit about the trading comp, but basically it's going to run for a number of weeks, and there can only be one winner. So there's a prize pool of a few $1,000s. All of the cash outs actually. All of the protocol share of cash outs, and I'll explain funded in a second, go into the pool and like kind of build up a pot. But so that's in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. So we're bringing everyone together with a bit of friendly banter, introduced to some of the people that are involved in the UFC. I know, James, you love, me and James famously talked, we never walked, we talked about doing a boxing match, didn't we, James? So you're a bit of a scrapper anyway.
I trained for it, man. I was getting nervous. I watched the movie, what's it called, Warrior, and I saw people. I've never been punched in the face before, so I trained for it. But yeah, it's not happened yet. So maybe we got to make that happen here.
And that's crazy, right? Because you told me before you've got like 3 brothers or something, right?
Yeah, we just were kind.
You've never been like, I have one brother, and we punched each other in the face thousands of times.
Me too, man.
I don't know. Maybe it's in Nebraska. I'm in Nebraska, small town Nebraska. Maybe it's one of those things. But yeah, no, just never got. Well, I'm the oldest of my brothers, so I was bigger.
So you would have been doing the punching in the face.
I would have, yeah. But I'm kind, kind soul. So
well, you'll be able to battle it out in our Ultimate Funded Challenge Championship coming up here.
That's right.
Maybe that's how we should end up. Like the final day, we meet up and just do a Royal Rumble, like old school WWE, and just chairs, everything. Just have it out.
Hey, I'm down for whatever, Danny. If you ask me to be somewhere and do something, I will be there and I will do it.
I'm down for whatever. You'll make a great wife. So let's get some introductions then, guys. I know James is such a nice guy. He found that joke funny, but he also he's very professional. So
I'm steaming on the inside. But
let's why don't we work backwards? Let's go to Geet. It'd be great. Geet, you're one of the team captains. Do you want to give us an
Greetings, everyone. Definitely, I'll be representing the New Order team in this UFC. It's first of all, it's an honor. It's going to be a very fun time. I actually have friends in the Kodiak team who I'm going to trade against, and we have also a few things to settle together. So I feel like the UFC will be the way of deciding who's right and not. Overall, let's just have a lot of fun. Let's enjoy. Market is flourishing, vibrant. I feel like we have access to TradFi and crypto as well. Correct me if I'm not wrong, but we have access also to HIP3 market, which means that we can trade TradFi on the weekend, right?
You've got RWAs, depends on which platform you're using for the competition, but you've got RWAs if you're using Kodiak. You've got definitely got RWAs. I think S&P 500 was the highest volume on Kodiak.
Indeed. So we have a lot of asset to trade with. So overall, it's going to be a very fun thing. And I feel like we're entering also in a period of the market where things are going to get more serious. Are we going to go straight in the dead bear market where Bitcoin is potentially making new lows, or are we stalling a new accumulation and potentially get a little bit of euphoria? So I feel like it's also a good period where traders have a lot of edge. Things are very uncertain compared to other periods of the market. Macro situation is very picky as well. So it's also a way to see who's going to be like thriving in those conditions.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call at the minute, isn't it? And I always find it's interesting at this phase of the market, because we all look back at charts and think, well, how's everybody
Exactly.
that goes through any sort of bull market, how are you not just rich? But after you've been going down for so long, there's this, half of the pump is disbelief, right? So people are waiting for it to reverse. So it's so easy when you're looking back. But Vero, it'd be great to get... Sorry, Geeks.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to move over to Bearer and get an introduction from him. He knows Geek. These guys are close. Sounds like there's some scores to settle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Bear Rodman here, CEO of Kodiak. Kodiak, we're #1 DEX on Berachain. We're also coming up on maybe like top 1 or 2 DEXs on Orderly in general, or perp DEXs for what it's worth. We have some pretty fun products coming up. We're building out some pretty fun bot tooling at the moment. Hopefully that should be useful for a lot of the new farmers out here across different DEXs. And yeah, we've been working with FoxFi for some time. I think it's one of the best additions that we've had to our product suite. I think in general we're just under 100 million in volume across the funded accounts. And yeah, I mean, I think for us working with FoxFi has been great, just because it allows traders to kind of get additional capital in a way that's a bit less predatory than a lot of these other prop firms that you see. And yeah, we're going to keep trying to do a bunch of these fun competitions, fun events, and we'll see who comes out on top for this first one.
Yeah, great. Yeah, brilliant. James, do you want to give us do you want to follow up with an intro as well, and then I'll go into what fund it is, how it works once we've had your introduction.
Sure. Yes, James Pelton. Go like and subscribe. I'm a YouTuber. I've been in the crypto DeFi space. Basically, my wife told me I'm tired of hearing about crypto. Go start a YouTube channel to talk about it. And so I started that. Danny was one of the first people that I kind of met in that space. And honestly, Danny, you are one of the last people still around from back, 2020, late 2020, early 2021. So Danny's been a good friend for a long time. I've been burned by crypto a lot, as I'm sure many people have experienced. So I'm kind of like, I'm a little burned out on crypto. Danny, it kind of told me about this, and I'm like, okay, let me give this a shot. I am not going to be doing, I've mastered the art of finding someone who is better than me, and they are going to be doing the trading for me for this challenge. That's what I've mastered. But Danny, sometime I also want to talk about using AI. That's what I've been loving, AI trading. So maybe we'll talk about that, but maybe another time. But yeah, go check me out, James Pelton on YouTube.
Check him out. Give him a follow, a like, a subscribe. So I'm going to. I should do an introduction actually, because I'm just assuming people will know who we are. So I'm Danny. I'm founder of Foxify. We built the funded app, which is pisses me off actually. A lot of people say we're the first on-chain prop trading. It's all a lie. We've actually been doing on-chain prop trading since 2024. Was the first version of our app built on top of our own GMX fork, and then 2025 we launched the V2. We threw our perps DEX in the bin, and now our business just goes to platforms like Kodiak. We build on top of it, and so they have a prop trading application. So what does that mean? It means users can get access to more capital, and they get access to even more capital if they can demonstrate skill. It's as simple as that. So I can, with a $500 deposit, I can instantly have $2,500 on the platform. Past one level, I have 5, and then just scale up to $10,000. So that's what we do. And for users, like I say, it's simple proposition. User can basically just have more capital, and as long as they can demonstrate skill, it's permissionless. There's no KYC. We're not interested in what anybody claims that, in terms of their performance. The great thing about the system, it will just reward you with more liquidity if you demonstrate performance. It's as simple as that. So really, really good for studious traders that just want to have more capital. For trading platforms, so we're integrated with a few trading platforms. Kodiak was, I think one of our first, actually, wasn't it? Even before DYDX, we integrated with you guys, Bera, and we will continue to integrate because we're an ecosystem as well. So we've got Hyperliquid, one of our next big integrations that's in the works at the moment, which a lot of people are waiting for. But actually, we've had huge success with Kodiak. It's been a great partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been really fun to see. I think I mean, it's really cool to see people that can actually like level up their trading quite a bit. I think like with the double cash out program, it's been pretty cool to see people like get paid out double the profits they would normally make.
That's a great point, actually. We shouldn't. I'm just going to share because I've got one of our orderly integrations up on the screen at the moment, and I'm going to share. But we should do a plug. So bear with me a second. I'm going to share my screen. Now, what I'm going to show you is on one of our other integrations, just because we're trying to create a bit of balance. Obviously, there's a lot of Kodiak sort of lovers already here. So I just want to, can you guys give me a confirmation? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. YouTube
Cool.
Pro, man. Good.
Yeah. So the just to plug here. So I'm on What Exchange here, but if you go to Kodiak, actually, if I go to let's go here. Look. And I go to my platforms. These are all of the platforms that I can trade on at the moment. I go to Kodiak, and actually we had a $20,000 double cash out competition, and that's still running. So there's still, that's not the colors are over covering it there. There's still $8,600 worth of double cash outs to claim. So that, what that effectively means is, because you get 80% of the profits that you cash out, you can get up to 160% of your profits on the challenge at the moment on Kodiak. So that's a brilliant reminder there. So I'm just going to go back here because what I want to do, if you're landing on one of our platforms here, or let's look at Kodiak as well. I'm going to start on what, but you'll see some of the similar sort of menu options. Now, first thing I would always recommend is go to learn about funded, right? So choose your platform and go to learn about funded. So I'm just going to jump over here. The reason is there's two things that are most important. So what does the challenge structure look like? So for the purpose of the trading competition, we're doing an entry. So I deposit $100. I instantly have 500. Once I pass the first level, not if, because I'm confident I'm going to make it. Once I pass the first level, I actually have $1,250. But on Kodiak at the moment, I also get a double cash out. So I cash out my 80% of my profits, but then I also then get sent the same amount again. Basically, the minimum cash out, I get that amount again. So go to challenge funding, check out the structure of the challenges, how they work, and then the FAQ. Pretty much everything you need to know is kind of in these two elements here. So your FAQ will tell you, how do I get promoted? How do I lose? How does the drawdown work? So all of the basic, like, what are the things that I need to know to get started is in that document. So if I just come here and go to funded, don't deposit into the app, because if you deposit into here, what you'll do is you're depositing into Orderly. And you can do that, by the way, and trade. There's no issue with that. So you can trade perpetuals through the Foxify portal. You could go to Kodiak and trade perpetuals and also do a funded challenge side by side. There's no issue with that. But if you're going to start a funded challenge, you need to come here. And I'm going to go to start a new journey. Super simple. Start a journey now. I would recommend that you do put in a contact email. I'm going to opt out because I don't need to email myself. But I would do recommend you put in your email, because you'll get sent promotions, and we can't send you those promotions if we don't have your information. And as simple as this is like working with children and animals. You should never do anything with Tech Live, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to break the rules, and we're going to click start journey. Here we go. Right. Simple as this. So now $100 will move from my wallet into an account on the platform. So it's not synthetic, it's real money trading on the real market. And then what happens is another $400 comes from the vault, that's an on-chain vault in the background. And despite me only risking $100, I now have $500 on the account. I just have to demonstrate some risk management, demonstrate that I can perform over a number of trades, and bang, I'm ready to go. So it's as simple as that. Go to Funded, always go to learn about Funded first, read up first, but then just start your journey, deposit, and after a couple of minutes, we'll be ready to go. And it's completely permissionless, no KYC. And when you cash out, there's none of this having to approve cash outs. You don't have to meet any weird and wonderful requirements. If you can demonstrate performance over time, then you get to keep 80% of the profits that you generate with the funds that you've received.
Hey, Danny, question for you. So this makes, for my audience, this makes a lot of sense for people who are familiar with prop trading.
Yep.
For people who are not familiar, it sounds really weird. Like, where is this money coming from? Why is you just giving money away? Yep. To the traders, it makes a lot of sense, but to people who are new, do you want to explain a little bit why do this?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think so. Retail traders, it can be challenging, right? Because I think you kind of can't make serious money until you have a decent amount of money. But at the same time, actually, if you're starting out, I wouldn't recommend anybody who's trying to find their way goes and puts thousands of dollars into an account. Yeah, trading is the quickest way to make and lose money. But what you can do is take, for a lot of people, a relatively small sum of money. Most people are spending more than $100 in McDonald's nowadays. You can take $100. You can start a $500 challenge, and actually, if you're skillful, you'll keep getting more capital. So what's in it for us is very clear. So if you perform, then we get 20% of your profit share. And if you perform, it means you keep trading, you do more volume, and we, as to Kodiak and the trading platforms that we work with, they earn from the trading fees. So that's what's in it for us. And what's in it for you is that you have more capital, and it provides actually quite a controlled environment. I'm not a trader, although I run a trading platform. Well, I don't really run a trading platform. I run an app that integrates with trading platforms. I'm not a trader, but I love the funded challenges. I love them because I'm like quasi interested. I'm interested in the game, and I'm interested in speculating. But at the same time, I don't really, I don't want to completely commit myself to that. So the fact that I can put in $100, start with 500, and scale my capital really quickly if I do well, and if I don't do well, because sometimes my discipline slips, I'm not actually that great, then you know what, I've lost $100. But I've really enjoyed the experience as well. Now, the problem we solve is that most prop trading is a scam. What these apps do is they say they're doing what we're doing, and they make crazy claims. Like you can have $200,000 instantly, but then all of the weird and wonderful rules come out. So they'll say you can only use certain leverage. You've got drawdown can only be 6%. They're basically, you can't trade the news. You have to KYC multiple times. You have to video yourself trading. Basically, they sell you this amazing story, and then they start like changing the rules on you and making it super, super difficult, because ultimately you're not really trading on the real market. You've kind of wandered into a casino because you saw the flashy lights, and they're trying to make sure that you leave without any cash, right? That's what prop trading firms do. And so where we're different is what we do is we enable the user, and actually the better a trader does through our platform, the better we do. So, actually we're motivated to help you.
Okay, thank you. Very helpful, Danny.
Cool. So I've given a bit of an intro there. Let's check. So it says 100%. So it's now setting up my funded account, and as simple as that. So in the time that James asked me a question, I'm ready to go, and I now have extra funds in my account, and I'm ready to shoot. Barry, you've been using the platform for a couple of months actually, and we were just talking before we came on air as well, Geeks. I'd be interested in your experience of it, Barros. Like, if you were speaking to yourself 2 months ago and you wanted to give yourself a bit of advice on how to get the best out of the platform, and Geeks, I'd love to get your take on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people probably get these funded accounts and try to swing for the fences right away. And I think like what I would recommend is just starting off with a low amount of leverage in general. I think that's a good tip for anyone trading on leverage. Just to keep it to like a relatively low amount of leverage and just try to slowly build up your account over time. And obviously trying to do so in the time frame that you're given with Foxify. And yeah, I mean, I think like for me as of recently, I've been really focused on non-crypto markets. So I think on Kodiak specifically, you can trade gold and silver, and those assets have been very volatile over the last couple weeks. And so I've just been kind of focused on those assets rather than the kind of choppy crypto markets that we have right now.
Yeah, that's a great shout. And you know what? I've actually been promoted many times on Funded. I would say I was probably passing at least 50% of accounts that I would try. So then, because I would cash out once, it meant that the one that I lost was kind of a bit of a free go, because you do cash out at every level. But I've found my success rate since I've reduced my position sizing has been infinitely better, way better. So that's brilliant advice. Geet, I'd love to get your input on what you think, is you're fresh on the scene.
You know what? I've been like, the first time I've come across Foxify, and I've seen, so your funded rules, right? We have to step out the first challenge and step tiers. First of all, you get a wide threshold of drawdown, which like most of the funded apps, even if it's like more crypto funded or like TradFi funding, are going to be very strict, having 2, 3, max 5% of drawdown daily or max daily loss, which is like, let's say honestly, if you're going through Funded and you're learning trading, it's a great way to maximize your psychology and your way of learning how to take a loss, or in the other matter, how not to take them, and have like very strict systems that allows you to say, it's fine, I lost. But having 20% all the way to 10% is already like a wider safety belt. Like, I'd say you can always be like a little bit lighter, have less stress, take wider trades. As for example, in those market conditions, I'm way more confident taking swings, for example, depending what we're talking about. Maybe not Bitcoin, but other things like commodities. Oil has been a great swing recently. And I cannot go on the swing knowing that I need a 3% max loss. Definitely not. That doesn't work. That is hard. Even though we are looking out to work with systems where probably we're going to go between 5 to 10% of the account per trade, it's still like something I want to keep in mind, because it goes fast, right? You enter a trade and all of a sudden you don't know what to do, because like you get funded by your emotions, you get lost, overwhelmed. And this is where the start of the end gets to be like a little bit complicated. So I feel like this is a good way of doing it.
I'd love to ask you a question, if you don't mind, based on what you just said. Because there's something you just and it's I think the more you learn with trading, the further you get from that time when you didn't know anything.
Exactly.
And something you just said, you said, if I'm trying to do a swing trade, then it's really difficult to. And swing trades is where you get the most gains of course.
Exactly.
Why is a swing trade? Could you explain, like, for people, why is a swing trade so difficult for these traditional prop trading businesses that only give you sort of like between 3 and 5% drawdown?
Easy. Everybody that's going to go through funded accounts are either people that know of a little bit of trading, or people who've come from marketing of day trade. Mostly people are going to look at day trade, people that do a lot of scalping, 1 minute time frame chart with 500x leverage on MetaTrader, things like that. I think most of like the mindshare is focused on these type of prop firms, where they're going to go through 100K funded accounts. They're going to blow it up. It costs them roughly $2K. And they're like, oh shit, I blowed another account. But if you want to trade, like, I don't know, everybody has different systems, right? If I'm swinging, I want to have a large amount of stop loss, because like what we're trading is the trend. We're not trading price action, direct price action. So if I'm trading the trend, and I know I'm like expecting the trend to go either upways or downways, I want it to have the time to develop and prove me that we have strength, relevant strength, that it's going to go that way. And that can take time. It can take time. It can take sweeps. You're not allowed to like take on sweeps when you're like literally day trading. People get stop chased because they put their stops where they're allowed to put them, because they cannot put it further, because if they put it further, they're already getting stopped, or the account are getting blowed, literally.
Yeah, it's a great explanation. And because I you're a trader, so you're very technical. I think the way I would say it for layman's like me is that when an asset moves, nobody it's super rare to catch exactly the top or the bottom.
No one.
If you're playing a trade, there's always a margin of error where you're going to be wrong. And so basically, what prop trading firms want you to do, they want you to either get tapped out quickly, or they don't want you to rack up too much profit. You see,
Yeah.
so if you're afraid of the slightest move moving against you, it means that you're afraid to run up a profit as well, actually. So whilst it has a negative impact in terms of stopping you out, it also stops you building. Like trailing, there's probably the most famous crypto prop trading app, and they have trailing drawdown. So you could hit the trade of a lifetime, and the market pulls back a little bit, and you lose your account.
Makes nonsense. It's like a rabbit hole where people are not able to experience skills, experience psychology. I think people, like, if I get to a beginner today, I wouldn't even tell him go buy a funded. I would go what are you able to lose? Experience what is fear, FOMO. What is it to trip over a chart, over a P&L, to see if you're made for it. I'm not sure everybody's made to see like your money go down and low. And once you're comfortable with it, go build capital, save your assets, build long-term assets, investments, and on the side, build your skills with funded accounts, for example. And I think like Foxify being permissionless, like you guys are probably like the only one in the market right now doing permissionless funding, which is amazing, especially in 2026. We're entering in an era where everything is trying to be centralized. So like we still have like a little slight bit of hope of like getting decentralization. And I'm a big fan of DeFi, so it goes all along with it.
Yeah, brilliant. So I'll finish off by just sharing the leaderboard and how we're going to be watching our points in the competition. But I'd love something that I think everybody could comment on here, because it's kind of real world and also has such a huge impact on the market. We saw like really, really strong language from Trump on Saturday, I think it was. 48 hours later, so today he comes along and says that he's had great talks with Iran. The market's pumped. Oil was crashed. So commodities go the opposite direction to oil. I only learned that recently, to be honest. I was always of the view, uncertainty, gold goes up, but I learned very recently that oil and gold kind of go the opposite way to each other. So what's going to happen next, guys? How do you think the next 5 days, he's kind of kicked the can down the road? So there's this kind of 5-day period, and sort of generally over the next few months, do you see this as a short-term thing, or do you think potentially things could really start to unravel?
Wow, that's a picky one. Actually, my 2026 thesis with the new Fed chair replacing Powell currently, for me, if we're looking at a policy of Trump wanting a lot of rate cuts, like he doesn't want 0.25 BPS to be cut. He wants 2 BPS, 2 full point of rate cut. We're going to need to justify these. There's no reason of like catching those type of thing of printing money for free. This is like pure speculation. I'm not even like planning anything about that. But for me, like this is a short-term thing. At least for crypto, I have maybe less perspective on TradFi, but for crypto, for me, it's just a lower high, and we're gonna go search deeper for sure. What are we gonna look at? I still believe in cycles, for example. So probably we're get by Q3 or Q4 bottom if it wants to. But for me, yeah, it's a temporary thing. But maybe we can get upper pushes on the mid time frame and like definitely catch like a lot of moves. That's like something that's very possible. But like overall, if you look at the HTF, yeah, I don't personally don't think we're going like for a new run.
Interesting. James Berra, what do you guys think? How do you think everything's going to play out over the coming weeks?
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Berra. I'll go last.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I mean, I think like, I was looking at this fractal from 2022, and I think like kind of around the bottom, it was like 520 days of this kind of bear market chop in accumulation period. And I think we're probably going to see something similar to that. I mean, I think there is a scenario where like we see like gold continuing and maybe that causes some FOMO into BTC, but me personally, I'm pretty prepared for like maybe a year and a half of just sideways movement for crypto coins.
Interesting. When you say sideways, you mean between 100K and 40K?
I mean, like maybe like 60 and 80. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. That's quite a tight range for a year. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think regardless of what actually happens in real life, I think I've just seen how everything is headline driven. Like it doesn't even matter what's actually happening. It just matters what the headline is for the day. Like Trump, who knows? I don't think he actually had a good talk with Iran. Probably it doesn't. Seems like he just says whatever, but the markets just kind of react super, knee jerk reactions to that. Personally, I like don't even read the headline. I'm not a trader every day, but I just put my head down, dollar cost average, some Bitcoin, some gold. I think oil prices probably will end up going very high. I don't think this is going to be over quickly.
Interesting.
But pay attention to the headlines because I think that's where you get these huge swings are just based on news. Whether or not they're true doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, the problem is within about 10 seconds of a headline, the market's already pumped 10%. Then you've got the decision: is it going to continue, or am I buying the top at this point? It's really, really tough. My 2 cents for what it's worth. I think when you saw what Trump said on Saturday, you thought, well, that's a ridiculous game of chicken, which he started, right, where the consequences are huge. And actually, if he'd followed through on that threat, and everybody says World War III starting, and I'm like, yeah, what, for the 100th time? Come on. But that is the sort of catalyst that could really start to unravel. So for that reason, there was no way that I believed it was something that was serious. But it's an interesting mix because I think you've got on one side, you've got a people that are completely shook by the price of milk going up after a couple of days. That's us in the West. And then you've got a regime who, the guy's dad, mum, children, wife have all been recently murdered. I'm not sure he cares too much about how much it costs to fill up his car at the petrol station. So you've just got like this completely different outlook in terms of how you address things, right? It was super, super short term in the West. So I think from a market perspective, I think there's a lot of up to be had this year, but I think we're going to just see some really, really tough unravel. So my advice would be careful with leverage. Like Bearer said, keep your position sizing sensible. You can actually style your way out of most bad trades if you keep your position size small. And you learn the lesson with a bit of fear without having to blow yourself or blow your account up. So my advice would just be keep it sensible and learn the ranges. Actually, one of the things that I found, I used to just go, do I think it's going up or down, rather than waiting for natural sort of bottoms and tops of ranges. And you probably reduce your risk by 70% just by respecting those zones, wouldn't you say, Geek?
Yeah, definitely. And leverage I wanted to say about leverage. Leverage, I think people misconcept the utility of leverage. Leverage is a tool to allow you to use less margin on a trade that you should. So technically risk less capital, but definitely not make more capital as of a thing that it's going to bypass you, something that you don't have. This is casino. This is what we call gambling. For me, leverage is only a tool for you to be able to spread your assets in different places and to be able to use the same size and risk that you would usually use.
Yeah.
So good point.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So as we close off, I'm just going to share my screen one last time.
Can I make a comment and ask a question, Danny?
Sure, go for it, buddy.
Sure. First off, one thing I love about Funded for my audience, for people who are not great traders, and like some of the language even these guys are using might be super intimidating. You're like, I'm not qualified for this. One thing I really like about Funded is you can start very small. So I've been part of prop firms before where it's like 5K to get started. It's like, okay, if you don't know what you're doing, please don't go put 5K into something. Like starting small. Funded, you can start with $100. That's a great way to start on something, as you just dip your toes in. But my question for you guys, for my audience, a lot of them are interested in trading, what's a good way to learn? Is it just dive in with $100 and just get started, or like what's the best way to practice and learn? What would you guys say?
Study theory and practice. You have to be on the charts to know how the charts work. The more like it makes sense, right? The more time you're going to spend on the charts, the more obvious and relevant it is going to be to analyze the move. And even today, I've been trading for now 3 years full time, and like every period of the year, I'm still learning. It's like a perpetual curiosity nourishing thing. I always learn, and from everything I've known before, this makes my edge. So definitely involve yourself into studying, study. But if you're only studying and not practicing, it makes no sense. For me, you have to be on the charts and study at the same time. The best advice I would give to someone that's starting, do not go crazy. Only go what you're able to lose. And like James said, starting off with $100 is a very honest thing, especially if you're getting funded. You don't care about blowing $100 if you're like literally learning. This is going to be your tuition. This is the way you pay. Losing money into the market is your tuition to success and knowledge. That's all I have to say.
That's a great way to look at it. And I think people might be, I don't want to lose money in the markets, but they'll pay $700 for a course on trading or something like that. And it's like, it'd be better to take that $700, go lose it in the markets. It's actually probably a better education for you than whatever that.
If you have a good mindset, definitely.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Very good. I think it is great. I think there's a couple of, just to offer my advice. And I think my advice, by the way, is relevant because I'm not an expert and I'm such a noob. But I've been working really hard to try and do away with some of the common mistakes. And I was probably a walking mistake in terms of trading, to be honest. So one of them I would say is learning where the market finds resistance. So you'll notice what I used to do, for instance, is I would trade because I felt like it, if you like, rather than it was the right time. And then another one is probably some of the best advice I've heard is that you shouldn't go into a trade unless you know how you plan to leave the trade. And I used to do that. I used to just go long or short rather than knowing that if my entry is here, I'm looking to exit here. And then as long as I position that in terms of size and don't, say, for instance, I like 3 to 5%, meaning if I know where I'm going to exit and I work out my stop losses as I can't lose more than 5% of my bag, then I find my whole experience is just far less emotional. And when it's emotional, which is exciting, that's when the losses just rack up really fast, don't they?
Especially if you plan in advance. When I'm entering a trade, I'm not looking how much am I going to make out of it. I'm looking how much I'm able to lose on this trade. This is what I'm focused on. What am I going to lose if things go not my way?
True. That's a great piece of advice. Great stuff. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm just going to leave by just showing ufc.foxify.trade, and there'll be a link on our leaderboard page on foxify.trade as well, and you'll be able to see all of the teams. So we have Team Kitsune, which is actually an automated trading bot. We have Team Resurrection, which is James's team of traders. And we have the Kodiak team who aren't on there just yet. You'll see the Foxify team will start filling up. And then obviously you've got Geeked, which is New Order. So we've got five teams on there. There you go. There's a couple more New Order traders on there. And you'll see, so points are earned based on the points that are earned within the funded challenge. And we'll be able to see that leaderboard filling up over the coming weeks. But, last minute shield, Bearer hit the nail on the head. If you want to go and give funded a try, just head to foxify.trade, choose your platform. On Kodiak, there is double cash outs at the moment. You can choose. Really depends on your style and what you like. So you do have multiple options, but there is double cash outs on Kodiak right now as well. So yeah, give it a blast, guys, or jump in the Discord. Our Discord is super active and supportive if you need any advice or support. But thanks, guys. I really want to thank you guys for giving up the time today as we kick off the UFC.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
We're live. We can trade. Everybody's my teammate are ready to trade.
Let's go.
Is they ready? We're off.
Excellent. I wanted to go into an ETH short, and I could see the ETH pull back like $50 whilst we've been on this call. So I'm really frustrated. Now, emotionally, I should just park it and walk away. But my emotions are going, FOMO in now because you were right. Well, maybe I need to just be a little bit more patient. What do you think, Keith? Nah, he wants me to lose. He's going now, full port, max leverage, be emotional.
That's right. We're competitors as of now, right? So
Yeah,
no more free advice.
No
Yeah.
friends out here.
my goal is to crush every single one of you.
Fantastic,
No.
right?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Talk.
That's how we get fun.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Appreciate
Bye.
you so much.
Have a great day, everybody.
Good luck.
Take care.
Bye-bye.